and thank you for turning up for this this presentation. Now, originally I intended this to be an experiential exercise, and the subject was going to be on the felt sense. But it's quite typical for me, I sort of morphed, and it's still going to be an experiential exercise. But instead of the felt sense, we'll be getting to know two of the polyvagal states from the inside. We don't have time to do all three of them. That's really something for a workshop. So first, what I'd like to do is just to give a brief recap of those three polyvagal states we kind of covered in Giten's webinars. And just to go through, just to get a recap of those, so we can start with the sympathetic state. And that's what we often think of as being kind of the fight or flight mode. It's how we get when our whole organism perceives a threat of danger or alert. So that's about activation, it's about mobilization. And if this state of being had its own bumper sticker, it would be move. And going on from that, we go to sort of the dorsal vagal state. And this is where we go when the sympathetic state has kind of run out of juice. When it's overloaded, when it doesn't have the resources or the strategies or the energy to carry on. And this is what we know as that freeze response. We know that so well from Peter Levine's book. And so if this had its own bumper sticker, it would be to stop. And finally, we've got the ventral vagal state. And this is how we are when things are okay, when there's no immediate threat. And really, that's our default setting. It's kind of our home state as human beings. So if the other two states are all about protection and making ourselves safe in the face of danger, the ventral vagal is all about us just being safe enough. And most importantly to us, as human beings and as facilitators and as mums and dads and brothers and sisters and lovers, it's about us being safe enough to be for connection. So if the ventral vagal state had its own bumper sticker, it might be something like ease or flow, or maybe just safe enough. So with that out of the way, let me just give you an overview of what I'd like to be doing for this session. So in a few minutes after an intro, I'd like to have I've got a few words that I've prepared that I'll read to you that will lead you towards a sympathetic state. And there we'll stay in touch with that for about 10 minutes. We'll let it develop. Allow ourselves to kind of get to know that, to be able to describe it from the inside. And as the words that describe that, as they float up for you, then I'd like you to just maybe make a note of those. We'll just make maybe a word or two here and there. You might end up with just 5 or 10 words of the whole thing. It's just something to give you a reminder of what was there for you at the time. So you'll need some paper, something to write with. And if you have some colored pencils, maybe choose a color that you feel is right for you when you're actually in that state. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to investigate the two of the polyvagal states from the inside. Basically, what I'm going to do, we'll talk about the sympathetic state and the ventral vagal state. I'll lead you in as a group to the sympathetic state, where you'll have the opportunity to really soak that up, really marinate in that. And during that process, write down whatever words float up that can describe that for you. the main the main purpose of this experience is just as an experience. We're not really trying to write an essay. So if you get just 3, 4, 5, 10 words, it doesn't matter. That's perfect. We're just wanting words that give us a taste of what it's like in there. Okay, so we're going to go in there for 10 minutes. We're going to come out, ground, clear the air a little bit. Then we're going to go back in and do ventral vagal. Then we're going to come out of there after another 10 minutes, go into pairs and share and compare our experiences in breakout rooms before coming back about 10 minutes later to conclude the whole thing and yeah, share all of our experiences. Okay, is that clear, Karen? More or less? Good. Thumbs up from everybody. That's great to hear. Okay. So let me just give you a quick lead in, and then I shall read you some words that will hopefully bring you towards that sympathetic state. So if you just like to make yourselves very comfortable, gently closing your eyes. We're in sort of familiar territory here. Let me invite you all to take a couple of breaths. Just drop in wherever you are right now. You just notice how your body makes contact with where you're sitting. Feeling your weight supported, your feet on the ground, how your hands are maybe in your lap or on the ground or on the arms of the chair. And slowing down, knowing that there's nothing to do, there's no task to achieve, just being invited to witness whatever's here for you as the next few minutes unfold. And now I'll read you some words. So let me invite you to remember an activating time when you felt the sense of sympathetic, mobilizing energy moving through you. You might feel a sense of too much energy flooding your system, a sense of unease, even a sense of being overwhelmed. You might think, one more thing will put me over the edge. And now just let enough of this sympathetic energy into your mind, into your body, just to get a taste of it. You can remain a witness to this without it taking over. Just notice how it is to make contact with that energy. It might be quite tentative at first. It might be delicate, it might be quite strong. Just stay gently in touch with it. Give it some time. Give it some time to develop. You might notice just how that energy feels in your body, how that activating energy feels in your limbs. Just staying in contact with whatever's there, getting to know it better, taking the time to let this energy grow, getting curious, nothing to do, just noticing. If you find yourself getting lost, just come back to your body, back to that sympathetic state, just touching it lightly. And just letting it develop like a photographic plate in the dark room. And as your senses develop, and the senses become clearer, you might be able to say hello to whatever's there. Maybe noting a word or two. All the time, just giving this state all the space it needs to let itself be known to you. And again, if you find yourself getting lost, Just come back to your body. Just touch into that sympathetic energy. Allow yourself to take in the quality, the flavor of this state. Give your attention to how it feels, the physical sensations, your breath, how free that might be, or how held it is. Noticing how you're oriented around movement or the restriction of movement in this state. And it may be very familiar, or it may be not. And in these last couple of minutes, you might see if this place has anything more to tell you. You might notice how it feels now compared to how it was when you first started. Maybe it's changed. Or maybe you have a better sense of, a greater sense of how it feels as a whole. Yeah, that's right. So gently, this last minute, we'll just take these last few seconds, taking all the time you need just to come back into the room, feeling the weight of your body on the seat. And when you're ready in your own time, just open your eyes. Maybe looking around the room, taking some clearing breaths, tapping your body. Dance around a bit. Just to really let go of that connection we had with that very activating place. While it's still fresh in your mind, you might, let me invite you just to complete 2 sentences. The first one is, in this place, I am. And the second one is, in this place, the world is. So that's, in this place, in this sympathetic place, I am whatever. And in this place, the world is whatever. Thank you. Yeah, so I trust that you're taking care of yourself to bring yourself back to the room. You're resourced, you're present. Yeah, and so I'll begin the second part. We're going to the ventral vagal. So again, I'll just lead you in. Again, making yourselves comfortable. Gently closing your eyes. And again, just taking a couple of deep breaths. Maybe adding a sigh to each of them. Just letting go, hear that vocalization. Again, just drop into wherever you are right now. Noticing how your whole body feels in the room, in the space, feeling your weight, the feet on the ground, feeling the meat of your body, the bones in your limbs. And maybe turning your attention inwards. Gently, lightly, just touching inwards. Letting it maybe settle on that core area between your throat and your root chakra. And let it rest there. Just be you being a witness to whatever's there. I'll read you some words to bring us towards a ventral vagal state. So let me invite you to think of a time when you felt the flow of ventral vagal energy. The sense that everything is okay. Not wonderful, not perfect, but just okay. The world is safe enough. And you can move through it with ease. Let me invite you to bring this moment to life and let it fill you from your core to your skin. And when it's fully alive, you might begin to note whatever words float up to describe this place for you. Again, just notice how it is to be in this ventral vagal place. How this place feels in your body. contact might seem delicate at first, just stay open to it. Stay open to this kind of okay place where things are safe enough. Just stay gently in touch with that and let it develop. And again, just saying hello to whatever is there. Maybe noting a word or two. Or maybe it needs to develop a little more. And we can give this space all the time it needs to let itself be known to you. Just noticing all the physical sensations, whatever emotions might be there, whatever feelings might be there, whatever images might be there. Really letting yourself marinate in this place, getting to know how it feels as a whole. And as we approach the last couple of minutes again, you might want to see if this place has anything more to tell you. Just maybe refreshing your contact with this place. Stepping back and stepping back in. Yeah, so thank you, and next minute or so, just allow yourself to come back out and re-enter the world. Wherever you are, fully resourced. When you're ready, allowing your eyes to open once more, but in your own time. So thank you, everybody. And now's the big time when we're going to go off and shoot off into breakout rooms, be paired off. I think Pablo, yeah, Pablo's just, yes, I will, Pablo. Just bear with me. Pablo's very kindly created the breakout rooms for me. So all that remains for me to do is to kind of frame that. So it's really a case of you going off into your pairs and sharing and comparing what your experiences have been. And given the time we have, we were a bit late starting, but yeah, let's say we do 4 minutes each way. And yeah, and again, I forgot to ask you to make a little note of that, of your ventral vagal experience. In this place, I am, and also in this place, the world is, how that feels, how the world feels to you, how you feel in the world, in this place, I am.